Okay, so there's no effort to scrub Pelican of the last remaining craftsmen or to push them back into the old buildings. So this is to facilitate larger businesses and some people who already made money in Barbados. Okay, so rather than send out a formal email, the CEO walked around to more shops introducing this lady who will, in his words, start the process of privatization. Now there's a doctor's office that moved next door, and in having a meeting with this lady, the doctor's office wasn't there, not even a week good yet. Having a meeting with this lady, she is suggesting no, that I move to the old buildings. Now this seemed a little racist to me, but I had to educate her that Craftsman or Pelican are in specific locations based on the type of equipment, the material that they use, or maybe it might be a ventilation issue. You know, the old school BIDC people would have placed people in certain locations based on that. So she is saying that it is not privatization, that she is managing it. And they have all these plans, but they need craftsmen to move into the old buildings, or in some cases, out of Pelican completely because the old buildings doesn't have enough space. Now they've asked politely first, but the other thing is to, if people don't want to leave, then they will just make it uncomfortable. So some people's rents have already started to go up. Pelican has played an important role in Barbados culture and in tourism. The older generation would understand, but for the younger generation, here are a few highlights. Right, so most major cities carry an art district. These are usually designed into the architecture. So for example, there is Camden Market and Covent Gardens in London. There is Distillery District in Toronto. I saw something similar in Berkeley, but I don't think that was exactly our district. But it was quite interesting. Here in Barbados, we have Pelican Craft Center. Barbados is one of the first successful slave societies for the British, and today the descendants of the owners of the slaves still benefit from it. Now, our grandparents and great-grandparents weren't waiting to hear a conversation about reparations. They started to build foundations. One of those foundations was Pelican Craft Center. So Ghana had a year of return in 2019, and Barbados had regathering in 2020. We had Barbadians who came out from Vienna, from London, from New York, I think it was Toronto, and Australia. So they came out looking for the creative spaces, that same foundation that our grandparents and great-grandparents would have built, and they could not access that space. So no reparations, and the spaces that were made available by our foreparents not accessible, but we facilitating these other businesses who have money. Well, according to this new CEO, we can go outside underneath a tent. Good luck getting your vendor's license. Everyone ended up going back overseas, with the exception of the guy from Vienna. He was able to set up at home because he had the space, so the tourists actually found him and they patronized him. Pelican predates the independence of Barbados. We still have one of the oldest art galleries on island with over 60 years in operation. If the Barbados Museum doesn't have a section on it, then they should. This was one of the first entrepreneurial avenues for Barbadians. Returning nationals are keen on telling stories of times they visited Pelican in their younger years and the time that they've had. Oftentimes, craftsmen work are selected by government officials to gift heads of states in other countries. Unlike mass-produced items, craftsmanship takes time. It's a bit more expensive, but it's made to last. Our work doesn't carry planned obsolescence, so we're not making something that will end up in the trash in a few years. It's more ecologically friendly to the environment. Even materials like glass and ceramic that are delicate. For ceramic, it takes 1,000 years to break down. For glass, it's 4,000 years. If it is well cared, it will last long. With quiet luxury or luxury brands may at times commission craftsmen to develop works that they may have for their collection. If it does happen, we may never know because there's always a non-disclosure agreement, so we're not allowed to speak about it. Some school teachers recognize that some of their students are visual learners, and they try to expose them to sectors where they can see people use skills to make a living. One of those sectors is Pelican Craft Center. Visual learners may not perform well academically, but they do better with practicals. And this is because most visual learners have a high manual dexterity, meaning that they have good eye to hand coordination. The tour exposes them to options where they can use skills learned to earn a living. Barb or one of the other organizations should have had the space so we can show the old time Barbadian living experiences, such as making kites using clamacherry and cane trash, or even some of the pastries. I think there was a shop in St. George that did old style pastries that I've never seen in Barbados. A few years after Pelican was reopened, craftsmen noticed a lack of sales and tourists walking on the other side of the street. As professionals in any sector, we identify problems and we almost always come up with solutions for those problems. I would love to say that after meeting with management, it meant something like this. Our people are our most important asset. Let us see if we can solve this problem. This adds to our tourism product and it is an important aspect of Barbadian culture. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that way, but we have professionals from these sectors, whether it is healthcare or whether it is education or even this sector. When we have professionals from those sectors who do not participate in the development of the sector, then that sector has essentially been set up to fail. It's easily mismanaged. If we don't recognize our own history or the places that carry a historical value, then we can easily throw it away or sell it or even destroy it. All right, with all that said, long live Barbadian craftsmanship.